so much for joining us during this momentary distraction of simple amusements and magic. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Herren as Faust, and welcome once again to Faust Company. I am your host. I already seen a couple of you out there. Chris Reynoso, hello to you out there. Raven, it's always good to see you out there, and I hope everyone's Friday is off to a good start. If you guys are out there, please use the comments, say hello. It's always good to see familiar faces pop up on the show. And once again, thank you guys for all your support. And I can't wait to introduce to you our featured guest for tonight. But before we get on to the fun and magic, I would like to make a couple of announcements, if I may. And so this first announcement is from a group of friends of mine, real good friends, and he's watching tonight. It is the Raven and Migs show. It's a virtual magic show that they put together. And if you haven't seen them live at the Magic Castle, they brought their show onto the virtual platform. And they have made quite the production, and they have donated this video to me for you to look at. They are putting on a show March 27th, and I suggest that you guys take a look at that. So take a look at this video and enjoy.
Join Raven and Migs this March 27th, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, and watch as they perform their virtual magic show, combining both sleight of hand and mental magic, creating what they consider slightly mental magic. Raven and Migs are longtime Hollywood Magic Castle performers, and now it's your chance to grab a front row seat. This family-friendly Zoom magic show runs 45 minutes, and tickets are on sale now for only $10 a device. Simply click the link below. We hope to see you there.
That's March 27th. And you want to reach out to these guys, Raven and Migs. You could find them on Facebook. And if you are interested, you can also reach out to me and I'll point you in the right direction. Once again, March 27th, the Raven and Migs virtual magic show. The second announcement that I would like to make is one of my own. If you're a theater company out there looking to raise funds, well, me and Felix Jones and Simone Turkington, they're both Magic Castle performers. We have put together a show called the Orpheum Circuit Tour. And for the theater companies out there looking to raise funds during the pandemic, we're here to help. So please reach out to me. We can make an arrangement with all of you to raise funds if you need it. But take a look at this video, and it is the Orpheum Circuit Tour, which we are debuting March 28th. Enjoy. And and that's the Orpheum Circuit Tour. Reach out to Felix Jones Mentalist at gmail.com. And if you have any questions regarding that, he can answer any of your questions. I'm going to take a look at who's in the comments because I see it blowing up. Iris Fern, hello out there. And of course, Richard Lake, who is also known as Raven. And if you want, Raven, you could put up a link there for your show that's coming up on March 27th. Once again, everyone, thank you for coming. And our featured guest, I can see him right now, is waiting in our green room, and I can't wait to introduce him to all of you. But first, I would like to begin with a little bit of storytelling magic, if I may. Apparently, there are magicians in every culture. But what is a magician? Well, a magician to me is any person who can radically change our perceptions and thus transform our lives. This story is about a magician from the Jewish tradition. And it begins like this. Once there was a rabbi with a hunched back. But because of his great learning, he was arranged to marry the most beautiful girl in the village. On the day they were to meet, he went to the family home. The father welcomed him into the house. But when the beautiful young woman had one look at his hunched back, she ran from the room saying, "Papa, I'm sorry, I cannot marry him." The father was stunned. He had promised. What could he do? "Don't worry," said the rabbi. I will release you from your pledge if you just give me 5 minutes alone with her." Of course. What could the father do? He had promised. A few minutes later, the couple emerged, holding hands. The woman was glowing. She said, "Papa, I was wrong. I would be more than honored to marry this man." After the rabbi left, the father said, "My child, I have to know. What did he say to you?" "Papa, he told me of a time, and in that space a heavenly voice said, 'This man shall marry this woman, but one of them shall have a hunched back.' Papa, then I heard his soul cry out beside me, 'Please, God, no. She is so beautiful. If one of us must have a hunchback, let it be me.' Oh, Papa, can you imagine? After hearing that, everything changed." The tale of the rabbi magician. When I heard that story, I fell in love with it. And I was also inspired to carry on the traditions of storytelling magic. Which leads me to our featured guest tonight. He is a storyteller and innovator in his own right. I had met Phil Ackerly not too long ago on his Home Edition show. But prior to that, I had seen Phil Ackerly's name in lights here in the San Francisco Bay Area and had heard of him like a mythical creature. And fortunately, it turns out we became friends. He has performed at the Magic Castle in Hollywood, California. He has over 40 years experience performing for private and corporate audiences alike, and he has been voted Best Bay Magician by Parent Magazine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the amazing Phil Ackerly. Phil.
Hello, Chris.
Hello. Well, it is great to have you here, Phil, and it is always a pleasure to see you. And
Thank
before
you.
it was live, now it's virtual. So I guess this is the reality we are dealing with. But welcome to the show, Phil.
Well,
Welcome.
thank you, and a wonderful introduction. I like that music. I felt like I was watching Laurel and Hardy. I don't know where that came from, but
Well,
that's great. And love your. I just love your heart. I love your soul, and I love what you bring to magic and your little storytelling piece.
well,
Beautiful,
thank you
beautiful.
very much, Phil. I can already see out in the audience that there is quite a number of people here, and they're
Oh,
most likely here watching you. So if you guys are out there watching Phil tonight or are here specifically for Phil, please feel free to ask questions.
yeah,
And
please.
we definitely like that interaction with everyone.
And
So
excuse
please.
me if I take my eyes off the camera and look down at the screen. Oh, hello, Rico, because I want to see down there. This is great. First
Phil,
time on StreamYard, so I'm learning the ropes. Hey, I've been
well,
learning the ropes for a year, come think of it.
Well, obviously it's pretty easy, and I think you're pretty savvy at the software as well because you run your own virtual show, which I would like to cover later on. But Phil,
Sure.
I would love to. Oh, let me post this.
Oh,
Iris Fern says hello to you, so I'm not sure.
hello, Iris.
So Iris is here. Hello, Iris. Phil, let's begin with a very basic question. Everyone has
Okay.
an origin story. And I had heard of yours somewhat, but I'd love to kind of introduce that to the people out here. What is your origin story? How did you get started in magic?
hmm
What was the turning point for you for falling in love with magic?
Well, my story probably is very similar to a lot of people's stories, but I was a curious kid. Well, I remember as a kid, get I would get I got a plane, battery operated plane with propellers. I remember taking that thing apart on Christmas Day after I got it and trying to figure out how it worked. So I was very curious on how things worked,
Right.
and I love fixing things. And my background is electronics
Yes.
and magic. I think the first time I saw a magician was at a wedding up in San Francisco. This guy took a dime, or I was at the reception table or the buffet table, took a dime, rubbed it. He said, "Watch this," and it was gone. And under the table, he brings out the dime, and I was like, "Wow!"
It,
And I could just remember my stomach dropping. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. So
yes.
I went to the library and started reading books on magic. And bless her heart, my great aunt was the librarian at the College Terrace Branch Library in Palo Alto. So I spent many afternoons visiting her over the years. And
Yes.
my mom would take me there and we go to the library and I sit there and read books on magic and science. And then I got to see magicians on TV. I got a magic set for Christmas. I'm dating myself now. My favorite Martian, and
Oh,
and
I do know that show.
there's a little more or there's more origin to it. So real quick, a friend of mine in fourth or fifth grade say, "Hey, there's a magic shop down the street, which is about 4 miles down the street." I grew up in Palo Alto,
Yes.
so this was in Mountain View, the House of Humor. So we go down there on our bicycles after school, and it's kind of funny because I don't want to give away secrets, but the first trick I bought, I'm about to do it.
Oh,
But I bought the trick, then I had no idea what I'm doing with this thing because it's like I can't use this thing. They're gonna know what I did. They're gonna figure it out.
it's funny how you can always remember your first trick, and
First trick, yes,
I still remember mine, but I don't do it in my act. Phil, you mentioned that you have an electronics background,
I
and
do.
I get the sense that you didn't begin at least your career in magic. Is that correct to say? Is that fair to say?
That's correct. It was just a hobby, I just did magic. My parents would have friends over for dinner parties, and I'd go out in the backyard. I'd bring my tricks out there. I do what's next. I would do crystal tube. I
Yes.
would I would end with the trick that cost the most. That was my big closer.
Now I have to ask because I know that there are a lot of um, magicians out there that are just beginning their journey in magic.
Yes.
What was that turning point for you, Phil, when you decided to stop doing your so-called day job?
Yes.
Because I know you were an engineer and in in the electronics field or
Right.
whatnot. At what point did you decide to take that step, which is a huge step for a lot of people, and
Mhm.
pursue magic? I'm really interested in that.
Well, when I bought stock in Microsoft, I knew I struck big. No, not at all. No, the turning point was well, first of all, I joined the SAM in Palo Alto in 1979. I was a young, 23-year-old, and I got to meet magicians, and so I got to be around magicians because before that I never didn't have any connection with magicians. It was just seeing magic on TV, which
Yeah,
also is what bit the bug into magic. But
yeah.
the turning point was I then put together an act and won first place, the Dr. Taylor Trophy. I did a Japanese magic act, and I won an award for that. And then I remember this is in like middle of in the 80s. I thought, I wonder if I could make a living at this. But again, I was working full time in high tech.
Right.
And then the turning point was, a matter of fact, we're coming up on 29 years. 1st of August, 1992, I was handed a letter. I went to work, I get called into the director of marketing's office, and in front of me is a letter, not kidding. It said, to those eligible for our termination program. That's what it said.
Oh boy.
So I got laid off from high tech,
Ah,
1992. We had just, the next day, we were closing escrow on this house. My
yeah,
son was 10 months old. And one minute I'm talking to the sales office about, going out there and visit them in the summer. The next thing I know, they give me a box and I have to pack all my belongings, and they show me the back door. I'm not kidding.
oh
And
wow.
I go home and I sit down in the recliner. I told my wife I got laid off. There was rumors that it was happening, but we didn't know what was going to really happen. And
Right.
then all of a sudden the reality sunk in.
Yes.
How am I going to pay the mortgage? Because we already had a mortgage on a townhouse.
Yeah.
How am I going to pay for diapers for my kid? How am I going to put food on the table? I'm not kidding. Like,
Right.
whoa. And the next thing we're in the outplacement, um, career outplacement office with about 15 of us
Yeah.
talking about writing a resume. And oh my God, I was just working on a sales plan. Now I'm writing a resume. It was a big shocker.
Yeah.
So that was a big shocker. But I try real hard to be positive, and
Yeah.
I figured, there's got to be a reason for this. So that was the turning point when I got laid off. I mean, I wouldn't have said I'm going to quit. I mean, I
Right.
was making 70,000 a year back then. That was what,
Yeah.
30 years ago. That's pretty good money.
That's pretty good money
So
for that time period.
um,
Yeah.
if I go too long, stop me, because this is 30 years ago.
No.
So then I worked. So I worked part time for an event company, doing corporate events, and
Yeah.
he wanted me to become full time there on commission. I thought, nah, that was the turning point. 1995, January 1995. I said to him, so long. I mean, I was just on commission. I was just an independent contractor. I said, so long. I'm going to stay home. I'm going to market myself.
Yes.
So I then just went full steam into promoting myself as a full-time magician.
That's
And I've
yeah.
never looked back.
That's
I
wonderful.
want to share with you one more thing, though. It
Yes.
was not easy. There were a lot of sleepless nights of being able to pay the mortgage.
Right.
Back then, again, if I go too long, stop me. But back then, you
Oh,
could actually talk to the bank. You could actually talk to the mortgage people at the bank, and they waived our late fees for a year and then a year again. So we were just a couple weeks late because the money coming in. But
yes.
so it was a blessing in disguise. So
Well,
we made it happen.
yes, and you bring up a good point. You made it happen. You manifested this for yourself, and look where you're at now. which is a great
Yeah.
segue into some magic. And I know you wanted to share a piece with us, Phil. It has been a long journey for you nonetheless.
Yeah.
And had you not taken that step, who knows where you would be today. And so I know you have some magic. Would you please share something with us?
Sure. First off, I just want to show you this real quick. I visited a magic shop back in the 70s, and the magician showed me this, and I had not seen it since. But, you know, as a kid, my parents told me never to play with matches and to never do magic. So I ended up doing a trick with matches, and I'm still doing it today. Here we go. Okay, Chris,
Yep.
this is the highlight. Hey,
I'm here.
This is a part that burns me up. Now, you're probably wondering where the match went. Well, I don't know where the match went, but I know where the smoke went. Because in the smoke, there's a message. Look, there it is. You can see it on screen. Oh, it says, "Welcome to the show. Thank you, Chris." Can't make out that last word. Herren. And where there's smoke, there's magic.
Wonderful, Phil. Wonderful. No, I definitely am intrigued with the background setting that you have here as well.
Well, thank you.
Before we go on to more magic, I wanted to ask you, and it might be obvious, but who are your inspirations in magic? I see Blackstone up there in Copperfield, but for you, who is your inspiration?
Well, my parents, my mom and dad supported me. My dad drove me up to San Francisco to the House of Magic, bought me some of my first books on magic, Tarbell Course in Magic, and he gave me which one is it? He gave me this book. This book as a kid, bought it $1 at Emporium. But the Magician's Blackstone.
Yes.
And my only interaction with Blackstone really was on television, but that booming voice, and he was so confident. "Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Blackstone Magic Show." And it was just, it was, I look back now and I see how it affected me and how it influenced me.
Yes.
But just
Phil,
that booming voice.
I have to interject you right now because
Okay.
when you mentioned that,
Don't interject me, please. I haven't gotten my shot yet.
I remember seeing you at California Magic.
Oh, yeah.
Dinner and Magic in Martinez, California.
That's
I
correct.
think this is the first time we actually met in person, and you did a routine called that was the premise was Harry Blackstone.
Blackstone Bunny, I wrote it. Yes.
Yes. And for people out there watching, it was probably one of the most compelling storytelling pieces that I had ever seen on stage. And the reason why I say that is because I know that you're a storyteller, but you have currently pivoted your show from live to the virtual stage. Could you tell us a little bit about that and what audiences can expect if they see your virtual show?
Well, grab a ticket because it's a good deal. I have guests on the show. So real quick, I wasn't, when we went in lockdown in March, I had no plan I didn't even know what Zoom was. I had no plan to do it, but my wife said, "Why don't you do a show for your cousins, your nieces and nephews?" And that ended up becoming my first public show on Zoom for my loyal fans, because I had a dinner theater show and that shut down. So I wanted to do something in place of that. And after 2 shows, I said, let's bring on a special guest. So we're now on my 30th show, my 30th home edition show.
Yes.
And it's my way. It's my way of connecting. I'll say this real quick. After I did my very first Zoom show, it was a birthday party, and you can't hear the audience. And I went, and after the show, I went and sat down, and my wife said, "How did it go?" I said, "I don't know. It was kind of weird."
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any recollection of the applause. And I thought, well, I've had those parties before. You get back in the car after doing a home party.
Yes.
Like it? I don't know. So anyway, then I watched the video the next day and I saw, oh, wow. And I thought, wow, they're enjoying this. Then I realized, and that's it. That's why I'm doing these home edition shows, because I'm giving the audience a gift of seeing me. No, I'm kidding. I'm giving them a gift. I'm giving them the gift of laughter, the gift of connection. And I don't want to get all philosophical and all that.
No.
But no, I really, it really feels good to give back to the magic community, to the public in general, to what I do, and really, make them laugh and smile and listen to their reactions, and
Yeah.
feels good.
And I think that's the overall sense in your home edition shows. And I have a poster of it.
Oh, good.
In fact, you know what? I'm going to show it now, if you don't mind, Phil, so
No,
people can see. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure everyone can still hear me.
That's tomorrow night.
Right. And it's February 27th, 7 p.m. And John Armstrong and Nathan Comarsh is going to be on there. And so you guys could check that out if you're interested.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Please do.
Reach out to Phil. He's on Facebook as well. And we'll go over your information.
Yes.
I know you want to share more magic, Phil. Do you
How much time do we have, Chris? Let's see. It's only Friday night.
I don't think anyone's going out, but we still have a couple minutes here.
A couple of minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we'll end with the closer.
Right.
So, I'm crazy. I mean, last October, I really, really thought we were going to have trick-or-treaters. I really did. So I went and bought a ton of candy.
Okay.
Not that I like a lot of candy, but I bought a ton of candy. And Chris, how many trick-or-treaters do you think we ended up having that night?
How about 5?
Oh, 5. Now that would have been good. We had absolutely zero trick-or-treaters. Zero.
Oh, wow.
Which means we had a lot of candy left over. So I told my wife, here, I'll put it in the freezer because I have an idea, because I didn't want it to spoil. So this morning I got up, I took one piece out and I put it in this bag. It says, trick or treat, smell my feet. So there's one piece of candy in there. Now there's tons of candy. So I made a list of candies on my phone. Okay. I don't know, there's probably 60 pieces on my phone or so of candies. So give me any number between make this quick, between 5 and 50, or 5 and 55, any number.
How about 15?
15. Okay. 15. Yeah. And of course the audience knows that we didn't talk about this. I didn't tell you to say 15, did I?
Right. You're absolutely right.
Oh, I didn't?
Okay. No knowledge of this at all.
There's my poor bunny who passed away. So 15, huh? Okay. So here's my list of candies. Can you see them all?
Yeah. So I put you on a solo shot so I could see. Yes,
good.
I could see.
Now I'm going to scroll. I don't want to look at the screen because I want a surprise. Now, by the way, this has been killing everywhere I've been going. This has been killing, and it's wonderful. So tonight it's going to be another wonderful routine. So go ahead and look at number 15. Tell me when you've seen that. You got it?
I got it.
Okay. All right, Chris, you can put us side by side because I want everyone to see the look on your face when I pull out the candy at number 15. Okay. Drum roll, please. Do we have a budget for drum rolls?
No budget at all. So I'll do one for us.
Oh, good. Well, Karen Underwood from Phoenix, give me a drum roll.
All right. Ready?
On the count of 3, tell me the name of the candy. 1, 2, 3.
M&M's. Oh, yeah.
What? Did you what? It sounded like you said M&M's.
I did.
You did. You said M&M's.
Yes.
Well, Kit Kat. Okay. This is awkward. Well, doesn't always work. Hold on a minute.
Oh boy.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Boy. Don't.
I shouldn't do this. Oh, don't. Okay, I won't.
Don't do it. No. Get at it. Oh, get out of town. Bravo.
It worked.
Bravo.
I'm
Bravo.
gonna send these to you, Chris. M&Ms.
And those are one of my favorite candies too, Phil. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime. Hold on, I'll enjoy one for you.
I appreciate that so much.
So that's just a sample of what you can see in our home edition show. But you know, the real stars are the people I have on the show, and they come from all over the country. And it's, you know what? I want to say one more thing too.
Yes.
You can't stop me from talking. You know,
For it.
there's a silver lining to this whole pandemic thing, and it really is. And I think we all know it's the connection with people. I never would have thought a year ago that I would be doing a show or shows and have Peter Samuelson, Chris Pillsworth out of Canada, who I'd never met before. He was on my show. Dana Daniels was on my show. I never would have thought that it would ever happen. And it's wonderful that my guests are just so, and the guests and the people that come to see my show are just so excited to see a variety of magic. And so it really means a lot to me to give back to the magic community for what they've given me over my years of magic.
Well, Phil, I think, we need it now more so in this pandemic. At least for me, I don't know when we'll go back to normal live entertainment.
Well, let's see, what time is it now? I honestly, to answer your question, I think it's gonna be next year that it'll really,
somewhat semi-normalized, right?
I think so. But
so I appreciate all the magicians out there, especially yourself, going out of your way, because I know how much work is put into making it all seamless on this seemingly simple format.
Right. By the way, the people that are watching, are they many of them, you probably know them, are they performers themselves?
Some of them are actually, Phil, before we
because I was just going to say that to all the performers out there, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And there are times where instead of Chris and I can't talk slights and double lifts and Elmsley counts, we're talking screens, we're talking Zoom, StreamYard, and cameras.
And you're not just performing, you're also producing and acting as a tech.
But it's actually kind of fun.
So Edward Underwood is a friend of mine, and he wrote this out. He wrote this thing, and I wanted to point it out to you. Thank you for the interviews and advice in Tobias's Beyond Applause book, which I have as well. So there's a big thank you from Edward.
So that's one book he sold. Hello, Richard. Yeah, thank you. Was that, I'm sorry, Underwood. What was the first name?
Edward.
Thank you, Edward. Thank you for that comment.
Now, Phil, I could talk to you all night, but before we close out the show, I want to make sure people know where to find you, especially your home edition shows that you have.
2509 Ramkey Place, Santa Clara.
There. So if you want to find Phil out there, who's just, and you can expect a lot of comedy, magic, and fun, and it is family friendly. Look at www.makepphilappear.com and reach out to Phil, and he could point you in the right direction.
I don't know how good the comedy is, but
and then you're also on Instagram. I see you on there as Ackerly Magic, and then also Facebook. And
who is it? Yes.
And you're very accessible, and people reach out to Phil.
Yeah. Please do.
One last thing I want to mention, Phil. One last thing. I know you just published a book, and I wanted to bring that up. And it's called Magic Tricks for Kid by Phil Ackerly. If you're a parent out there, I would suggest, getting this book. And Phil, could you give us just a brief description on what it is?
Well, they contacted me about a year and a half ago, said we're looking for someone to write a book on magic. And I had been teaching magic at schools, libraries, camps, birthday parties, you name it, for years and years. And so I had the ideas in my head, and it was a blast. So I have to tell everyone, this is not self-published. This is a real book from a real publisher, Rock Ridge Press, and 25 tricks in here. They wanted to be geared towards 6 to 12-year-olds,
Yeah.
But the tricks in here are just as good for adults and
Wonderful.
grandparents too. So it was a wonderful experience working with a team of 50 editors to put together this book. And
Wow.
it's on Amazon. You can actually get it cheaper on Amazon now. It's gone down a little bit, but you can buy it from me if you want, and I'll autograph it. It's $18, $15 plus $3 shipping. And
Well,
so
thank you, Phil. For everyone out there, reach out to Phil Ackerly if you're interested in this book, and he can definitely hook you up. Iris says awesome, and I think it's pretty awesome too that you have a published work out there, and I appreciate your work in the community, Phil.
yeah, thank
As
you.
far as the magic community, I always ask my featured guests to end the show on maybe a thought or a positive thought. Phil, would you
Mhm.
do me the honor of just sending a nice message out there to everyone watching for us?
Do I have a moment to perform my one piece we talked about?
Oh, absolutely you do.
Oh, but
Please.
first, the thought is always end my shows with this, whether it's for kids or adults. Keep smiling. Makes people wonder what you're up to.
Wonderful.
No, actually, no. Let me give you some real advice. The real advice is, never. You're always be a student. Never stop learning. Because I don't have all the answers, and I always see myself as a student. I'm still taking workshops from certain various people, but I'm always learning and always fine tuning. So always be hungry to learn and to keep tweaking and keep improving. Never stop.
Never stop.
Yeah.
Phil, great advice. Always be a student. I'm a student of yours when I watch your magic,
Thank you.
and I'm always inspired. I know
Thank
you
you.
want to do one last piece for everyone out there. And so, Phil, the stage is yours, my friend.
Oh, thank you. I'll get off this squeaky chair. I'm going to now switch cameras. Here we go. I got a new camera. There we go. I wrote this for a group of high school students, and I only wrote it for that one event. And then last year, I woke up thinking about how to put it into a video. Right now, I'd like to share this with you. When the astronauts look at the Earth from outer space, they don't see the barriers that divide us. They see one planet and one people. And in those moments, they realize that we are all connected. The same technology that puts astronauts into outer space has made us even more connected in cyberspace. With one click of a button, we can connect instantly on social media platforms like through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And even though our interactions online aren't always positive, the world outside of cyberspace can be troubling and hurtful. My generation, we grew up with newspapers where every day the headlines and the stories would focus not on the things that would unite us, but on the things that would divide us. And even in today's high-tech world, we still allow our differences to rip us apart. Racial differences, gender differences, economic differences, and political differences. And yet, these are the differences that make us who we are, that make us individuals. Because when we can learn to just stop, listen, and learn from one another, when we can learn to look at others not through the lens of our own prejudices, but as who they truly are, well, my friends, that is when real magic happens. The kind of magic that forms bonds and bringing us together, not in spite of our differences, but because of our differences. So let's all keep reaching out in kindness to each other, and let's make the world a better place for everyone. Chris, thank you. Thank you very much for allowing me to share my gift with the audience. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight.
Thank you so much, Phil. It has been an honor to have you on the show. We hope that you can come back once again. And I can see in the comments that our people have enjoyed your performance tonight. Thank you so much for being with us. And my name is Chris Herren, everyone. And this is Phil Ackerly. And we will see you once again. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.